Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, aka magicman. We're doing the show live. It's Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, November 20th, episode 365. So at the conclusion of this episode, if you want to, you could go back and watch one episode of the Free-to-Play Cast per day for an entire year. For an entire year. That's a lot of episodes of the Free-to-Play Cast. Hope you enjoyed them. Hope you've come along on this journey. I do have some updates I want to go through, but first, let's introduce the hosts to go over everything with me today, because we've got a lot to cover. Ms. Quinlan Bowers, what's up, Q?
We are only a couple of days away from Doctor Who's 57th anniversary.
You're right. You are right. Wow. Okay.
I just thought everybody should know that. It also happens to be, because weirdly, they share their anniversary with World of Warcraft.
That is kind of weird. Huh. Also on the line, spoon in hand, Mr. Wilfredo Rivera. What's up, sir?
Hey, it's not a spoon. This is a very precise shovel. An extremely precise shovel.
It's precision work.
This is meant for intricacy and accuracy.
Well,
someone or something is getting buried today.
Someone or something on today's cast. We don't know, even as the hosts, we don't know what.
I have a guess.
I have a guess too. I think it might be an easy guess, but I also fear that it might be the easy guess. So, like, Wilfredo could be pulling the fast one on us here. So, all right, here's where we go. Before we get into the news updates, no show next week, Thursday and Friday. So Thursday is Thanksgiving here in the United States. Typically, I give the staff off as far as like big production stuff on Friday. Like we cover little bits of news, but video and stuff like that we don't do on Friday. So no show or stream Thursday or Friday next week, but we will do the normal 2 p.m. free-to-play streams on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll do those, and then the Twitch channel will be offline Thursday and Friday. We hope everybody has a nice holiday. Then we come back the following Friday for the Free-to-Play Cast on December 4th. And hopefully the plan is, at least at the moment, if it all works out, with a drastic overhaul to the visual presentation of the cast and another new host as well. So we'll roll into December with some snazziness. So hopefully that all comes together. The host will definitely be here. I just don't know if the assets will be ready to go. But, yeah, big stuff. So no show next week. But join us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/MMOBomb for the free-to-play streams. And then have a happy Thanksgiving weekend. With that said, let's slide over and get started with the news. All right, lots of stuff to cover today. So none of this stuff is like going to be horribly in-depth because there's a lot of news from bigger titles, but not big news, if that makes any sense, right? Like, we're going to talk about Terra, but it's not huge news on the Terra front. So we've got like a rapid-fire smorgasbord today for everybody, Q. And let's start off with another new MOBA coming. So this section is going to be some new stuff coming and then some new stuff, but not coming maybe on time or when originally thought. So we've got another new MOBA coming, the Immortal Mystics. Now this is going to arrive probably in the second quarter of 2021. This is by developer Mindif or Mindif. I don't know. I would assume Mindif, but we'll go with that.
That's how I pronounce it in my head.
Yeah,
so.
that's what it's doing up in the old noggin there too. Now, we don't know a ton about this one, Q, but they gave us like some like verbiage type descriptions, but not like any gameplay or anything like that yet.
Oh no, and if you go to the website, there's nothing going on yet. It's, pretty much the Mindif, whatever logo. But it's a fantasy-ish MOBA. I mean, the art style, right? Like if you look at the picture that I chose to go on it, it has kind of a Avatar Last Airbender thing going on with it. And they basically just say that it'll give a twist to the way players understand strategy in MOBAs, and I have no idea what that means.
Don't we hear that all the time? Like anytime a new
Right.
MOBA is coming out, Wilfredo, we always get we're taking a little twist on the MOBA genre, the MOBA gameplay, and then we play it and we're like, yeah, it's a MOBA. I mean, it's, okay, yeah, it's a MOBA.
This feels very reminiscent of there's a scene in Grandma's Boy where it's like, all right, so we're gonna take these assets on level 5, and what are you gonna do for level 7? We'll just paint them green.
Yeah, I absolutely love that movie.
What?
If you watch the streams where Havoc and I are hanging out, we torment Lou with Grandma's Boy. At one point, we did a stream where I was playing something and Havoc was watching the movie in the background, quoting the entire movie. Lou was ready to strangle us. One of my favorite movies of all time. Wife hates it. Wife absolutely hates that movie. But yeah, tremendous. So I don't know. Yeah, sure. Fantasy universe. It does have that, like you said, Q. That was the first thought that flashed through my head when I saw the artwork. I was like, oh, so we're going for like an Eastern Avatar Airbender type look. But, maybe that's just one particular character, not the aesthetic of the game itself. We just don't know a lot on it. But keep your eyes out. 2021, Q2, we'll be keeping you posted as we go. Keeping with the MOBA theme, though, a game that we do know quite a bit about on the MOBA front. Q is already smiling.
I just find this one hilarious. Remember, I don't actually play the game.
So we're talking about Smite, and we're going to be getting a new god in Smite in December. So not too far away, a couple of weeks. And yeah, this one might cause some smiles on other people's faces, Q. Who is this?
All right, so obviously they're adding to the Japanese pantheon, and they've decided to go with everybody's favorite, not quite mythical, but mythical for their purposes critter, a tanuki. So it's the tanuki Danzaburo, if I pronounced that right.
I think that's right.
And he's basically a Japanese trickster god who kind of good, kind of bad. Like, he's mostly just out there stealing people's coins and stuff, but sometimes he'll be nice and, if somebody needs a little help, he'll, supply them with coin, but you're never really sure where he got it. And they put out a really cute little video for it. There's no gameplay or, indication of what his abilities will be or what
it's not like a moveset
breakdown
or anything.
Any of that. But I get the feeling from the video that he's just going to be really drunk all the time.
Yeah, sake definitely comes into the conversation in the cute-ass animation, Wilfredo.
Absolutely. Now, I can tell you a little bit about the mindset and probably where they were going from this. So, Danzubaru is kind of like a low-key, if that makes any sense.
Trickster god.
Because
he
very trickster god.
Wilfredo busts out LOWKEYLOKI.
Exactly. So but yeah, so what the whole thing is why he's so mischievous is because what he would do is he would take the coins from out of the heads of the kappa, which are kind of like a turtle-esque creature that were known for kidnapping children. So it was mischievous but good. It's weird. It's like, it's very much reminiscent of a Sour Patch Kids commercial. So this is actually going to be kind of fun to see what they do.
It's got a very really Robin Hood feel to it.
Yeah, give to the rich, steal from the rich, give to the poor, but give a little bit back to the rich to make the rich feel like they're still rich.
Yeah. So yeah, look for that in December. What else do we got? Gwent, another thing. It's not quite coming out yet, but Gwent, the card game, adding the Way of the Witcher expansion. Now, this one should be interesting not only for Gwent players, but I kind of like the aspect of it because this kind of goes back to talking about the origins of the Witchers in the cards. And so I kind of like the lore aspect being presented here. The expansion trailer was really cool to watch. Again, yeah, it's a card game. I dabble in Gwent at best. I don't play it competitively. I don't have any interest in that particular game competitive-wise. I know, Q, that you dabble occasionally in these things, but do you play, Wilfredo, to any like great extent, any particular card game online?
No, I'm awful at most of these games. I just had Gwent, and I just recently uninstalled Gwent because I was being destroyed by the easy computer.
Oh my God, the bots, the bots forced an uninstall.
I mean,
was
wow, I
terrible.
feel better about myself now because at least I can beat the bots in card games.
Right?
I maybe won 3 rounds, and then after that, it was just like, I am getting the worst hands ever.
Damn, the bots forced an uninstall.
Apex just keeps cracking me in the dome piece. Gwent was cracking me in the dome piece. I'll find that game.
You'll get this expansion on December 8th. It's going to add 70 new cards. There's a lot going on December 8th. So we've got like Gwent, and then on the Marvel Avengers side, that's Kate Bishop. And then, oh, by the way, that same week, there's a little thing. I don't know if you've heard about it. Cyberpunk, technically slated for that day. We'll see. We'll see. It doesn't exactly have the best track record as far as picking launch dates. We are getting a new mechanic here, though, Q, called Adrenaline. What does this do?
So it basically it requires you to have a certain amount of cards left in your hand. Like it's one of those, you don't need over a certain amount, you need under a certain amount for this to activate. And it provides players with new synergies to use in gameplay. But it's like once you only have X amount or lower left, then it'll kick in.
Gotcha. So it's a mechanic enticing me to splash the board a little bit, or a mechanic saved up for endgame when you're saving those cards for the later turns to try and win the round. Should be interesting. So right now, pre-orders are available. $15 gets you the 10-level base pack. $50 gets you the whole pre-order pack with 25 premium cards and all that stuff. Of course, you can save a little money if you buy them both in a bundle. I like Gwent. It's just never like sucked me in. It's still installed, and the bots don't beat me. So I guess I'm a leg up on Wilfredo on this one, but I wouldn't say it's like a huge leg up or anything. I'm not terribly good at it. And yeah, people in chat are mentioning the Bless Unleashed update. We're not going to talk about that one today, but yes, Bless Unleashed did add a bunch of content. You can check out Facebook at memobomb.com for info on that. I teased Terra at the top of the show. Now, Terra's been a weird one lately, remember, because they've had the whole NMOS Entertainment being taken out of the picture, then the console development reverted back to Krafton / that's Bluehole, but the PC publishing in the West here went to GameForge, who has been publishing it in Europe for years now. So they had that whole thing, and it looked like Terra Console was the one that you kind of wanted to watch because development was going to continue on that. They were looking at introducing cross-platform coming shortly here. But unfortunately, that things have gotten a little delayed, and it might be a little bit of something if you're a Terra fan, particularly on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or if maybe you're playing those PS4, Xbox One versions on the next-gen consoles, waiting for the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions. There's a little bit of a shakeup going on in the staff. So we were introduced to Terra Console's new producer in this whole changeover to Mura Koji, but now Koji is leaving the team, going to a different project that we don't know about. And to coincide with that, maybe because of it, maybe related to it, maybe just unfortunate circumstances, we don't know if these things are related to each other. There's going to be a delay to the original server merge that they were planning to do on consoles. And more importantly, for a lot of people, I think, that play Terra, Wilfredo, the cross-progression or the cross-play is being delayed as well. That's kind of disappointing because I'm sure Terra fans were looking for the opportunity to have more and more players to play with. And it looked like console was the one that was going to keep pumping here, even if PC development wasn't all that keen right now, but kind of pump the brakes here for a second, I guess.
I mean, it sucks, yeah, because I'm pretty certain there are a lot of Terra players. I used to be a heavy Terra player, and it always feels as though, especially when you get to late game, it feels empty, and it's kind of disappointing. But it's one of those things where I say, let this cook the way how it should. You know, yes, this is going to take some time. They had to make some changes, but if they do it right, they make this delay and they have to put the right assets in the respective areas that they need it. If this is done right, people are going to be able to crossplay and have a much larger fan base, a much larger player base, and have more opportunities to do things. But you just have to be patient. Patience is a virtue.
And Q, the fortunate side of this, I guess, the silver lining is the delay isn't all that long.
No, it's about 5 days. So, I mean, we've obviously seen much longer delays for especially structural stuff like this, right? Like, we've definitely seen longer delays, and they're going to be compensating everybody. I mean, they're giving them like 500 Terra coins as long as they log in like pretty much immediately after the whole update goes through and everything. So it's not the worst news in the world. It just kind of sucks a little bit and probably screws with people's plans a smidge.
Yeah, that's why I kind of think that the Koji, the producer, the console producer, leaving to go to other projects, I think that they're probably not related. A delay of like 6 days, you know, now this is going to come out November 24th, so 4 days as of this recording from now. I think like if there was a huge impact by that departure, the delay would not have been like a week. I think the delay would have been a little longer. Interestingly, though, Tamura Koji did say that he loved working on this project for the last 3 years, and he would like to make a Terra 2. Will it happen? I don't know. Wilfredo, do you think there's enough juice in the Terra financial tank for a Terra 2 at some point?
I want to say yes. I want to be cautiously optimistic, but doubt it. Primarily because the fan base or the player base has dropped significantly. But if they say, all right, we took all your feedback from playing Terra, we're going to, you know, squeegee some things that need to be squeegeed, clean up some other things, get rid of other systems that just shouldn't be in there. Maybe, just maybe, if they can rival the gameplay of Black Desert Online and then add more quality of life stuff that don't seem so overbearing, people might be like, yes, yes, yes. And I'd be one of those people.
Yeah, and I don't think the question here is like, does Bluehole or Krafton have the money? Of course they do. I mean, like they've got the PUBG banner. They have all of that. Money as a company is not the problem, Q. I think, is there a willingness to put some of that money into this IP? It's kind of like if you were NCSoft, do you put money into an Ion 2? Like, they're in a fine financial position, but do you put money into that particular IP, into a sequel, something that's been rumored to have been going back and forth and happening, and maybe it's going to be a mobile, and maybe it's going to be all over the place for like the last 2 years, so that's a totally separate topic. But do you think Terra has been, even if it's on the downward slope now, let's say, you know, it's aged, player base isn't huge, has it been successful enough over a long period of time for Krafton to say, you know what, we think that is worth investing in and doing a sequel?
I mean, it might be one of those things of if they just feel like they've hit the right formula.
What the hell?
For what did you do, Mike?
I hit the wrong button, I guess. We are not going to the weekly bombs.
Wow, we just undercut all that.
Just skip the show.
Show's over.
But I think maybe if they're like, if he came in and said, hey, you know, I've got this really great and you know, laid out a really good formula that they feel like people might be attracted to. And I was never a big Terra fan personally. I think I dropped out with it like in 15 minutes of playing it.
Oh, see, I played quite a bit longer than that.
Right. Like, and I went on to do other things that interested me more. But I do know that the people that loved Terra really loved Terra. Justin was one of those people, actually. So if they rolled out and said, all right, so here's the stuff you loved about Terra, and we, you know, like Wilfredo said, you know, we took your input, and look, it's prettier, it's shinier because, well, you know, new engine and all of that jazz, then I mean it might actually be worth it to him to go ahead and try it. It's like, right, I still can't figure out in my head why, you know, Funcom keeps Secret World running, but they do. So as far as figuring out what's of value to game companies sometimes, and I say that with all love to Secret World, by the way. I'm just mad at them.
Can you slap your internet? You're like roboting a bit here.
It looks fine on my
No,
end,
the video's
so.
fine. It's your audio. It's you're
Ah.
roboting a little. So yeah, Terra. A little bit of a delay there. And talking about bigger delays, Crossfire X, that launch is delayed flat out into 2021, mostly citing pandemic challenges on this one. After much deliberation, and in consideration of the challenges faced by the Smilegate development team due to COVID-19, we've made the difficult decision to delay the release of Crossfire X to 2021. Moving our release will allow us to deliver the Crossfire experience on console our team set out to create. We'll have more details in the future. For those of you that need a little bit of a refresher, remember Crossfire X is the Xbox One Series X version, updated version of Crossfire, the first-person shooter, which really isn't all that big here in the West, but they're hoping to make a bigger splash with Crossfire X. They did an open beta earlier this year. We got a story trailer. You know, everything was looking good, but bumped into next year. And while, yes, I'm sure, Wilfredo, that COVID-19 and all that had some sort of impact here, it's hard not to say, well, maybe Cyberpunk, maybe Cyberpunk. I don't know.
Yeah, no. First off, I could care less about this game in particular. It's just another first-person shooter to me. Until I see something that isn't changing, the color scheme of a character, it's just another first-person shooter. And when you have a game like Cyberpunk, they had a 16-hour playthrough for many of the early access players. 16 hours. That's just the beginning of the game. Trust me. I think we'll be fine without Crossfire X for a bit of time.
You say you're not taking pitchforks and protest signs anywhere over Crossfire X being delayed.
It's kind of like when you see somebody's car that's been sitting in a driveway for 6 months with a flat tire. You're not worried about if that tire is ever going to get inflated.
What a weird
It's
analogy.
there.
If you want to shoot things, though, there is a new free-to-play battle royale out on the market. Q, I'm going to turn this all over to you because I can't even. I don't even know. I don't know.
Okay, wow, that is grainy. Anyway, basically, they decided to take animals and make them, and cute animals too. Like, actually think of, do you remember Happy Tree Friends?
Yes.
Yes, this is what this reminds me of, is Happy Tree Friends. And it's cute little animals just doing really malicious things to each other in a battle royale format. And the hilarious thing to me is they even kind of just stole the Fortnite font for their logo. Apparently this game has been around for about 2 years on Steam, and it I guess it's actually got pretty solid reviews for the small little community it seemed to have, but they recently got a new publisher. They decided to take it free to play. There's a little bit of $35 worth of DLC that's available for it, but it's you playing as a cat, a dog, a hyena, whatever, and just shooting the crap out of each other, blowing each other up, just being generally evil.
I mean, well, I don't even know. I'm amazed PETA hasn't lodged all kinds of campaigns against us or anything. Wilfredo, I guess you have something to play now that you're super disappointed Crossfire X has been delayed until next year.
Oh, I don't. A little bit of the shovel here. It's another battle royale. So when I first saw this, I was like, wait, did somebody get high while playing Animal Crossing and thought, it'd be cool if we just shot each other?
I thought it was a joke initially. I was not aware of the game at all.
It's just insane, isn't it? But at the same time, there is going to be a market for it, and they're going to be
100%.
Well, there has been, because it's been around for 2 years, and they do have, if you look at their Steam page, they've got really solid reviews, and I mean, It wasn't free to play, and it's in early access now. But yeah, it does already have a following.
Yeah, recent reviews 212, very positive. All reviews 7,100, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, see, stoner's dream right there. Oh, this is awesome.
I like the first review that I see here. Early access review recommended. It says, "I'm not a furry, but." That's all it says.
The other thing it kind of reminds me of is, I don't know if y'all ever saw this game. It was a console game, Fairy Tale Fights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like makes me, like gives me that kind of feel, at least from watching the little video.
I mean, there are people on here that are just like, this is legitimately the best battle royale game I've played. And I don't even think they're like trying to be funny or sarcastic. They're legitimate reviews where they're just like, yeah, this is actually probably one of the here's better than Fortnite. That one's just trying to be cute. But the thing I'm noticing about these reviews, wow, never mind. Color me wrong there. Here's somebody with 560 hours on record. 330 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have to give this one a shot and just check it out. I'm not generally into battle royales, but I think it's, at worst, I think it would be half an hour of amusement and then an uninstall. I think that's the worst case scenario now that it's free to play. You really don't have much to lose except the download time, right?
Why do I have a feeling that this is going to be like your new Rocket League?
Oh, God, no. Oh, my God. If it's
no
that
now.
good, if it is that good, I am going to be in trouble. If I'm just like, I can't stop playing this. I can't stop playing this. Last thing on the new content, but delayed, The Cycle, a game near and dear to Jason Winter and my heart. They're delaying the Steam launch due to pandemic challenges once again. That was supposed to be late this year as well. Now it's moving to early 2021. They're going to extend the current season to keep and put some more content in there to kind of keep it engaged, keep players engaged. So on December 9th, you'll get season 3.5. Again, 8th, 9th, 10th is like right in there. Like everything in the world is either coming out or has moved into first quarter to not be coming out that week. So, quote from the team, this will allow the team the freedom to more capably and comfortably deliver on its ambitions for the game's future. That's coming from head of publishing, Henning Schmid, who also added they made a conscious decision against an intensive crunch phase in order to compensate for time deficits caused by the pandemic. So, again, I've just generally not been in the category of getting pissed at any developer or publisher over delays this year. They're making the right call here. I think it'll end up being okay. I think we'll be okay if the Cycle season doesn't launch until early next year. We can move on because I know neither one of you two are, huge Cycle players, but Jason and I like that game. So let's move on to a couple other things. I like to call this segment, "What the fuck is wrong with this planet?" Because, what the fuck is wrong with this planet? In Star Wars The Old Republic news, kind of. Last week when we ended the free-to-play cast, just as we ended, we were getting news of a Ubisoft office in Canada that was, at the time, believed to have been going through some type of hostage situation. That was right as we finished recording the free-to-play cast last week and started into the free-to-play game stream. Turned out, after hours go by, that was a hoax, right? They were basically swatted. Somebody made a call to 911, and all this stuff ensued. Star Wars The Old Republic on the free-to-play side had a stream scheduled to show off their Mandalorian Flashpoint that they were adding to the game and some other content. And they actually delayed. This was a really classy move, I thought. With the situation unfolding tonight with our Ubisoft colleagues in Montreal, we're going to postpone our live stream Cantina to a future date, which we will announce soon. Thanks, everyone, and be safe. And luckily, everyone was safe in that situation. It was wrapped up shortly after that tweet was sent out, that delay. So I just generally thought kind of a classy move on SWTOR's part. I mean, granted, having the stream also, I wouldn't have been like, oh my God, Q, why are they having this stream while this is going on? Like, you know, this stuff goes on, sadly. But I just wanted to give a little bit of a kudos to the BioWare team. I thought it was a classy move, looking out for their partners, because there are a lot of relationships in the industry that you may or may not know of, that some of these companies work very closely together on things. And they know these people. They know the people behind these company names. Just always remember that. There are people behind these company names. But I did want to take a moment just to say, like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with this planet where a situation like that happens, Wilfredo? That's just insane.
I'll tell you what's wrong. We're screwed up in the dome piece. Something fierce. But I give credit, so much credit to BioWare for doing this. Not EA, BioWare.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
EA would have just said, all right, go on with it. But BioWare, I think, is one of those developers that deep down, it's all about the players, the community, and the people who develop the games. They are really people-oriented more than they are, business-oriented per se. So I think this was really classy, really cool of them. I'm glad that they did that to make sure that others were safe instead of just thinking about their own well-being.
Q, you got some thoughts on this one? Besides, what the fuck?
Well, anyway, it's annoying, like, because it is dangerous. Swatting is incredibly dangerous, and you can get people killed that way.
Yeah.
But it was also at the same time an incredible relief that that's what it was instead of an actual hostage situation, because those are one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we watch hostage situations on, various cop shows and stuff like that or whatever. And you kind of get the feeling that in real life, it's way more difficult to get people out of those than it is on the shows. So in that sense, I'm relieved. And like you were saying, as far as them knowing each other, I mean, it's one of those things you have to remember. The games industry, at least the developer portion, not the publisher portion, but the developer portion of games industry is such a small pool of people in reality that not only do they know those people, but there's a very good chance that they worked with those people at some point because they were at their company and they moved to another company later on when a layoff happened or something like that. So they're actually people that they directly know.
Yep. All right, so we have not seen Wilfredo get the spoon out, so it was not the swatting situation that Wilfredo wanted to get the spoon out for.
No.
Let's move on. Do I even want to move on?
Might as well.
I did a whole MMO Thoughts episode 2 days ago on this one. Tim Sweeney from Epic Games, they're doing the whole Epic versus Apple fight. Unfair rules, down with walled garden shops, which we'll talk about in our question of the week. And that's fine. You may feel one way or the other on that one. You may be more like I've always been, where I don't think Epic is necessarily being as forthright about how much of this fight actually has to do with money as it does. Maybe they're trying to white knight themselves a little too much, but in the end, I feel like the outcome would be a benefit net good as far as, tearing down some of these wall gardens and creating competition and things like that. So maybe you've had those thoughts. Maybe you're squarely on Epic's side. Maybe you're on Apple's side. That's fine. And Apple, to their credit, whether it's just trying to extend the olive branch, since now they're being investigated by countries in Europe. Epic has taken the fight to them legally in Australia now too. So they extended this gesture of, if you're a smaller developer making $1 million or less a year, we're going to cut the cost of the Apple fees from 30% to 15%. So cut the fees in half. Tim Sweeney saying, hey, that's not what we're fighting for. We're actually fighting. It's not to make the deal better for the little guys. It's to make the deal better for everybody by creating competition. So we'll see. And fine. And that's where this story would end. If Tim Sweeney did not, at DealBook, which is a platform offered by the New York Times here in the United States, mainly focusing on the financial sector. And if you want like more intricate details, please check out the MMO Thoughts episode on mmobomb.com or on our YouTube page that I posted earlier this week. If he went ahead and didn't go ahead and compare the Epic versus Apple fight to the civil rights movement in the United States during the 50s, 60s, 70s, to be fair, still ongoing, but when you say civil rights movement, that's the era, with capital letters, that's the era you're talking about. Compared the Epic versus Apple fight to the civil rights movement. Fucking real, Wilfredo. Unreal.
Shovel time.
That's what I thought.
There's a reason why I chose a very small shovel, because this is going to be an intricate burial. All right, so I've never been a fan of Tim Sweeney for the most part, because I think he's a bit crazy.
We should note here that his personal net worth is an estimated $9 billion, by the way.
Yeah, so not only is he crazy, he's stupid rich. This is egregiously tone deaf. And coming from families, mind you, my grandmother, great-grandmother, and great-grandfather all were a part of that movement. They didn't do it for some video games or for some, small amount of clout. They did it for equality. They went through it. They were beaten. They were hosed down. This is not the same. These are on two totally different levels. If this is what he believes, if this is what Tim Sweeney believes, then obviously he's not just tone deaf. He's disconnected. This should not have been said. There is no comparison. I can speak on behalf of many people and say, you're an idiot, Tim Sweeney. You are just a blatant idiot. Whether you were caught up in the moment and you were tired of answering questions, fine, whatever. But this, absolutely unacceptable. And hopefully, I'm praying for people to think with their wallets right now, because he needs to get a kick in the crotch. Because this, in my opinion, dick move.
And just in case here, by the way, you think that maybe we're taking this a little out of context. Maybe we're warping the quote a little bit. Maybe we're inferring something that was not part of his intent. I'll read you exactly what was said. It's everybody's duty to fight. It's not just an option that somebody's lawyers might decide, but it's actually our duty to fight that. If we had adhered to Apple's terms and, taken their 30% payment processing fees and passed the costs along to the consumers, then that would be Epic colluding with Apple to restrain competition on iOS and to inflate prices for consumers. So far, so good. Like, whether you agree with them or not, like, is that collusion or is that just entering into a contract with a business? Like, nothing raising red flags there. So going along with Apple's agreement is what is wrong. And that's why Epic mounted a challenge to this. And you can hear any and there's a little bit of inaudible here, to the civil rights, or to civil rights fights, where there were actual laws on the books and the laws were wrong and people disobeyed them. And it was not wrong to disobey them, because to go along with them would be collusion to make them status quo. And when I first read that, Q, I thought, all right, he made an off-the-cuff comparison. What he was trying to probably say was, look, if there's rules or laws or things that you think are unfair or wrong, then it's okay to fight them. Okay, sure, valid point. And you just made a really terrible analogy on a spur-of-the-moment thing, because you were like, oh, yeah, civil rights, they fought bad laws, we're fighting. And so I thought, there's probably a follow-up here. There's probably hey, I was caught off guard by the question. The way I answered it, while I think it made the point I was trying to make, probably came off as a really shitty comparison, and I apologize for that comparison. I was really just trying to make the point on, when you think something's unfair or wrong, it's okay to fight against it. Until I saw that he fucking doubled down. He tweeted in reply to TechCrunch's initial article on the topic, "It's a good article. Hey, critics, Please read what I said and tell me if it's actually wrong. When the rules were wrongful, it was right to disobey them. That's the comparison to the civil rights movement. By the way, a point you don't have to compare to anything to make. You don't have to compare your fight to anything to make the point that when you think a rule is unfair. I'm pretty sure those involved in the civil rights movements, and I'm just, I'm guessing here, one of you can correct me if I'm wrong. I wasn't there. I'm pretty sure none of them signed contracts to be treated less than equally and then decided that they were going to break those contracts. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen, right? I mean, I'm not crazy, right? Nobody signed up to be treated as 3/5 of a human or anything like that.
Not at all.
Okay, good. All right. Because for some reason, when I look at the Epic Apple situation, I'm like, oh, wait, but you signed a contract. So you did work with them to the tune of $1.2 billion annually, and then decided to make this fight. Just absolutely tone deaf in general, inappropriate, wrong, false equivalency, like so many argumentative fallacies going on here. And then to double down on it, Q, just asinine.
I mean, when I first read all of that and everything, I was just kind of like you said, the first quote, I was like, and here's the thing. White people in general, especially rich white dudes, quit comparing things to the civil rights movement or women's liberation or anything else that, actually has something to do with people being oppressed and killed and, everything else that goes along with a ruling class just stepping on the necks of other people. Just stop it. Don't even go near that. Then you won't have to worry about apologizing. But when he didn't even go, oh, well, you know what? Maybe that was just a terrible analogy. And he just really dug in, and he kept digging in. Like every other reply that he had was him just continuing to dig in about it instead of listening to people and going, oh, and, never considering the fact that he's worth $9 billion. He's not oppressed in any way, shape, or form. His company isn't oppressed. And again, he signed a contract. He could have from the start said, you know what, Apple, we have a really big thing here, and you could be making some money off of it, but you're going to have to change some stuff before we sign up. That's what they could have done. But no, they signed up and then decided, you know what, we don't like this, so let's just throw a freaking temper tantrum, get some lawyers involved, and, try to make ourselves seem like we're fighting the good fight. And there's nothing there except a super rich white dude throwing a temper tantrum over something he doesn't like.
All from a company
I'm super angry about this.
All from a company who, if we remember, last year faced some serious allegations of employee mistreatment and crunch and general mental abuse and things like that over Fortnite development, to the tune of, I will never forget this quote. I will never forget this quote from a Polygon article. One senior guy would say, just get more bodies. That's what the contractors were called, bodies. And then when we're done with them, we can just dispose of them. They can be replaced with fresh people who don't have the toxic nature of being disgruntled. That's your civil rights champion, Tim Sweeney, right there, Wilfredo.
Yeah, no, he can eat a big old bag of dicks for that. I mean, I get it. Maybe he was just, again, maybe he was in the throes of just rage. But, dude, really? You see, no one in the history of America ever said, oh, hello, sir, from Africa. Have you decided that you wanted to sign this contract and work in indentured servitude and then 200 years later be oppressed even more? Suddenly, that sounds like a good idea. No. Come on.
Nope.
You signed the contract.
Oh, my. I would have had a lot more respect if he would have said, hey, you know what? It was a live question. I was trying to make a point, and I think I made that point, but then when I actually went back and read it, I could see how this would be misconstrued as a comparison to a very, very different situation, and I wish I hadn't made that comparison to make the point that I was trying to make. I would have been like, yeah, okay, he genuinely, it was a flub, and it was the first thing that came to mind as an example everybody knows of fighting the good fight, which was the point that he was trying to make. But no, then tell me what's wrong with this. All right, we're gonna tell you exactly what's wrong with this one, Tim Sweeney. So yeah. To finish up what the fuck's wrong with this planet, Respawn Entertainment reiterates its anti-crunch commitment on Apex development, Legends development. And you might be saying, Mike, what is wrong with that? That's a good thing. And yeah, I think it's a good thing, absolutely. But I just want to throw it in there as and the cycle did this too, or we mentioned earlier. Why does this have to be said as a good thing? Like, what kind of planet do we live in, Q, where this has to be announced that we're not going to abuse the shit out of our employees? Could you give us some applause, please?
I mean, I guess we're well on our way to that dystopian environment that we've been writing about for decades.
Anyway, all right, enough of that. Let's go on to finish up the news here with some gamers that aren't happy, because there's very few of them, so we feel like we should let you know when gamers are unhappy about something, because you might not see it out there on the internet. So let's call your attention to it a little bit. In particular, Blizzard gamers. They're usually a pretty happy bunch, so we normally don't have to worry about Blizzard fans being upset about anything. A company that's now laying off another 30 more while hiring 2,000. Whatever. I'm so whatever. Jason initially gave a dub-bomb on, I think it was last week's show, for the new Hearthstone progression system. And upon further review, it may actually be a dub-bomb for the way he plays Hearthstone. But for the people that play this a bit heavier, the ladder climbers and things like this, turns out the new progression system actually does something they said it literally was not going to do. And that is limit or reduce the amount of gold that you can actually generate by playing the game, so that you can then in turn use that gold to buy packs. Lots of people not happy about this. And we've talked about this elsewhere, but we haven't talked about it here yet, and I don't want to get too into it. The math just doesn't work. There needs to be an overhaul to the system or changes to the system so that players who are maybe a little more hardcore than myself or Jason Winter actually can get back to where they were on gold generation. They're not happy with the experience kind of being there. It took a few days, but we finally did get a blue post on this one. And Jason and I and Wilfredo, the three of us, we were right. It basically was just, we're listening, we hear your feedback, we're going to make some changes. We feel like we didn't explain things well enough. We feel like that's our fault on communication. We're going to make some changes. We'll keep you posted.
Did you? Did you really? Did you? Because apparently your system doesn't work. Now, I had high hopes. I had faith in this idea. I was like, all right, maybe they're going to actually do something. They put out this nice little vignette of all the things that all the new features and things like that. Cool. Awesome. And then Shovel decided, hey, this system that we implemented doesn't work. But if you're casual, you're fine. Anybody else? Yeah. You're not getting what you want.
Yeah. They also pin some of this Q on a weird little thing here. So during the natural progression of the reward cycle, our intention was and still is to give out extra XP over time through a variety of ways. The aim is to help players get through the rewards track or catch up if they join later in the expansion phase, ultimately ensuring players earn more rewards. We also didn't provide any details for how events will link into and support the reward system. So what they're kind of saying here is that no. Yeah, when you just do a surface examination of the amount of XP you get versus how long it takes to get it versus how much gold that translates into, then yeah, you're probably getting less gold than you were in the previous system. But what we forgot to tell you about this whole thing was that we're going to be linking events and these that will earn extra XP that isn't in the natural progression of things. Oh, we forgot to tell you that. I mean, that's kind of that's literally in addition, or we also didn't provide any details for how events will link into and support the reward system. We will be providing bonus XP for various activities at each seasonal event every expansion cycle, and any additional bonus events as needed, again with the aim of ensuring that our players obtain more rewards. Our failures led to incomplete projections, for which we apologize. So almost no, nothing's wrong. Your math is right, but what you didn't take into account was stuff we didn't tell you that's coming.
Well, I mean, maybe they should have told them about that stuff, but also, I mean, I guess it just balances it out in the end or whatever, so they're at least not losing any. It's the entire thing just seems like a mess to me, and obviously, like Jason said, it's great for the scrubs, but yeah, it's and why wouldn't you just go ahead and tell people about this? Like this seems like, oh, but hey, here's like, if I were writing the thing up, I would put all that stuff in because I'd be like, look, you're getting credit for all of this great stuff, and it's really worth it for you to do these events now, and like, you would think that would be like almost a headline thing. Like, here's all this stuff that maybe it wasn't worth you doing before, but it's totally worth you doing now.
Particularly when you know, because you did the math, that if you just pump this out and somebody doesn't know that long term, there's not as much gold there as there used to be. And you were out there touting in direct answer, video evidence, by the way, in a Hearthside chat of, are you going to be reducing gold? We are absolutely not reducing gold. Well, you knew this track, as is, without the supplemental information, did reduce gold. So why wasn't that said? They are making one immediate change, and then probably some smaller ones over the time. So in addition, you've provided us with a wealth of feedback, and we agree that the pack rewards at the end of the track don't feel appropriate for the effort it takes to get them. We're going to adjust these rewards in the later stages of the track, swapping 6 packs for a total of 1,350 gold that players can spend as they see fit. If any players reach this milestone before that change is implemented, they'll be retroactively compensated. So that's the only real immediate change that we're getting to this one. But yeah, Hearthstone players, I mean, wow, Blizzard fans upset about something. It was very rare, so I thought we should cover it. Now let's actually hit the weekly bombs button at the right time. Q, you're up.
I am giving a bomb to the Animaniacs returning. It's, up there with DuckTales as far as things making me incredibly happy. So super excited about that. Watched the first episode. It was good. It's like, just kind of like a we're back kind of thing. And as soon as I'm done with work, that's pretty much what I'm doing the rest of the day.
I love the Animaniacs. Love them, love them, love them, love them. I'm going to give a dub bomb to Ion and having some new content. So if you're an Ion player, new content. Yay. Age of Conan, too. If you play Age of Conan, new content. Yay. And I guess since we're here, I might as well give an A-bomb for Secret World Legends, still not having any content, Q, any new content. Age of Conan, sure. Secret World Legends.
Sigh.
Go ahead, Wilfredo.
I just want to give a dub bomb to me and my shovel for and an A bomb to Tim Sweeney. That's all. Just me and the shovel.
Very, very easy one. And remember, when you are submitting your weekly bombs, make sure you use a dub bomb for something good, an A bomb for something bad. That's the way this works around here. And while you're around here, make sure you check out gamerpower.com, one of our sister sites. Launching a new API for giveaway tracking on there, totally free for you to use as well. Again, none of this has any fee to you as the user. If you like free shit in games, free add-ons, free expansions, free in-game currency, whatever, tons of games, tons of free stuff, head on over to gamerpower.com. 100% free for you to use. There isn't even an option for a premium account or anything. So check it out. Going from to the viewers' A-bombs, we've got Jace giving a dub-bomb to Age of Wushu for finally bringing new content and a little surge in server population. Downside, A-bomb to the new Battle Royale mode they added. The next couple of weeks going to have to deal with current scene spam chat in all maps. Register for Snowfield Battle until those items/skill set farmers get all the new shiny things they want. Stojan, A-bomb to tracking UPS. Guardian Veil, D-bomb to vacation. Finally, some time for games. A-bomb to Monday. Ninja Panda's giving a dub-bomb to the Arc Hour Episode 3 that airs on the 24th next week. And an A-bomb to stupid stuff like swatting. On YouTube and on the site, we've got Andrenes, Beyond Light, ruined Destiny 2. What developers remove half of their content in an expansion? Bungie. And although they didn't say A-bomb, I got the feeling that that was an A-bomb. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah. Also an A-bomb to Bungie and Destiny as Zerarian Earn. Releasing an expansion with more than half their content removed. Not smart. Also, content for the free-to-play players is very limited. It's just a demo now. That sucks.
Wilfredo.
Misfit Rain, A-bomb that's testing positive for the Rona.
No!
I'm so sorry. Please get better and stay safe. I feel absolutely fine. Just lost the taste and smell. It takes 4 weeks to months to get that back. Oh, day 5 of the 14-day prison sentence. Good thing about this is I'm eating salad, broccoli, and a fiber bar for however many weeks because I cannot taste this shit anyways. Worst but easiest diet ever. This could have happened after Thanksgiving though, maybe closer to when WoW expansion came out. Look, taking the good with the bad. Positivity, right?
Question of the week last week. What, by the way, Misfit, we hope you get better very quickly. What free-to-play game would you like to see next on the Let's Revamp the Way We Do progression train, and how should they do it? Nasagra says, question of the week, does a revamp to reverse a previous revamp count? If so, I want Guild Wars 2 to change progression back to something like vanilla progression, where 1, you can over-level for skill or hero points. 2, masteries are removed or let players spend skill hero points to unlock them. And 3, replace all open-world map currencies with just karma and gold. Nasagra went on to, explain those in a lot more detail, but in the interest of time, get Nasagra's main points there to Guild Wars 2, having a revamp to undo a revamp. There we go. Q, go ahead.
Jow, question of the week. Revamping progression would not be what gets me into a game I've discarded prior. There are more important things to consider, like monetization.
Very true. Long one for you, Wilfredo.
Yeah, Raggerty.
Although your wide-angle lens just got a dub-bomb in
chat.
I
saw. Thank you, Whole Milk. I appreciate that. We'll get a 720 view soon. Raggedy says, question of the week, as far as progression goes, I like the way Warframe does things. Collect the things, make the weapons, level them, and you level. The higher you level, the better the weapons and the more things you can do. Now, as far as getting, that is another issue. I'm not a big fan of locking things behind a rep system. If I'm doing things and I passively get rep, cool. I can play the way I want and not have to net deck to farm things. For example, when the open worlds came out, the rep grind was annoying, but it was found out if you fished or caught wildlife, you could gain rep at a steady rate and not have to play for hours. Not the new one. Each vendor has their own tokens to collect, be it for fishing, catching wildlife, questing, or handing resources over for some. The worst part of this is the grandmother one. She takes the tokens from the other 4 and gives you hers. So you have to essentially rep with the 4 enough to get 1/4 the rep for her. This would be fine if her offerings reflected that, but they don't. So if you want one of the new weapons, it costs rep from one of the 4 to get the blueprints, then the absurd amount of rep to get 1 from the granny just to build the thing. That is redundancy, Department of Redundancy.
Feels bad. Feels bad. Question of the week. This week, I alluded to it when we were talking about Epic versus Apple. Do walled garden shops bother you? Like, as a consumer, a video game in particular consumer, even if it's like free to play, does Sony, Apple, all these other companies having their own walled gardens and no competition in those environments, does that bother you? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, don't forget to give us your weekly bombs. D-bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad in the world of gaming or in life in general. And if you have a question for the panel of any type, be sure to put it down there, and we'll bring it to the show. Not next week. No show next week on December 4th when we come back from the Thanksgiving break on the Free-to-Play cast. Until then, Wilfredo, where can everybody find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at Damien X Marius. I'll be saying some things, maybe. Said Tim.
Q.
Hanging out on Twitter at Quinlan, and I mean, I say stuff, but it's usually nonsense. So
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at magicman, magicman1. But more importantly, follow at MMO Bomb so we can tweet at you all the latest news, articles, first look videos, giveaways, interviews, and so much more. Until 2 weeks from now on the Free to Play cast, stay safe. See you on the servers.